It seemed like I was falling forever. I was like, am I going to
All right, I think we're live.
So you won't be able to continue
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, give yourselves a round of applause for We're laughing in the rain out here in Phoenix. Okay. Do you need an introduction? Does everyone know Liz? Yeah.
It's this way.
We do. Okay.
I know Liz's property.
How long have you been working with Liz?
3 years.
3 years.
February of 2016.
Nice.
Nice.
You know what? You just give the intro on you, and I'm just going to say she's awesome, and that's why she's here.
So
Okay.
agreed.
On your belt, you need to put on your blouse and get off.
No trip.
I'm going to take
Okay. Oh, don't take a lot of notes. I'll just send it out. Wait. Let's be smart.
Yeah, for the people that showed up, get the email.
I know, right? Okay, yeah, so I probably wouldn't have shown up either. I mean, it was raining so bad when I left my house then, and it was storming so bad, but I left at 4:30, so I could be here in time just in case. So I got here in time, so thank you all for coming, and if anybody's out there, thank you for watching. And this is good. So I am Liz Quinn. I didn't join, my husband and I joined in February of 2016, and our company is Skyline Real Estate. But we can use Skyline Real Estate, so you can find us all by Skyline Homes. That's how you can find our information online. So we were in the real estate business before. My husband's been a realtor for about 25 years. And we did short sales and some rehabs back in the early 2000s. And nobody had really done them back then. I was pregnant with our third child, and he wanted to buy a house, and I thought he was crazy, and he wanted to buy another house, and I thought he was crazy. And we did that. We bought the houses. The thing that we did, not wrong, but we bought them on conventional loans. So since Fortune Builders has come along, we've learned a tremendous amount of way to acquire houses, how to get deals, how to get better money, how to use other people's money, a lot of things. So he learned a lot from quite a few people out there, gurus in the industry back then on short sales, but we didn't understand the power of other people's money. And that is a huge benefit and a huge power. And it's the confidence in knowing that you can utilize other people's money and they benefit and you benefit, and it's a wonderful thing. So we got in, and we got it in 2016 because of we had seen the commercial and had the opportunity to go and visit with the Fortune Builders program, and we were in the wireless business then. And not that all of us have cell phones, and not that the wireless business was going away, but it was changing, and we saw the need to get into some other stuff. So we decided to get back into Fortune Builders, and it was, so we got in 2016, and even though we knew real estate, and even though we knew some ideas in real estate, it was a fire hose of information, a true fire hose of information. And setting everything up the Fortune Builders way, and learning the Fortune Builders way. And for anybody out there, for you guys in here, and you guys are fairly new, the coaching is the most essential part, I think, of the Fortune Builders program. Not only do you get the programs on there, and I'm not just promoting that, but the coaching itself was what, you know, it's not that I didn't always listen, but they would throw so much at me. I'd be like, what the crap is happening? Well, we did it. We just, you know, I said, I gotta do it, I gotta do it, I gotta do it. So, you know, everybody wants a deal and wants a deal and wants a deal, and it's not that we waited, but we had to run out our other business, and we had so much to learn the first year that was so different than what we were doing. And I know we all want to make our money back, and we want to get our investment back, but it just, we took a long time to learn what we needed to do and get coaching calls and get that stuff set up. So through the course of our learning, so we got in February, we went to a couple boot camps, we did the stuff, and then the following year, so now it's 2017, we were self-employed, and we had taken on another role. My husband had taken on a contract position, which we had never done. And so we were self-employed, and I was always in control of everything, like, you know, billing. We did milestones billing, but this time he took on a contract job where he got a monthly salary, so to speak. We were still W-2. we took on this job, and that was great, and I was still learning, and then May 31st came along, and they were not running their company very well, and he came home, or I was actually in Rocky Point, and I came home a couple days later, and I wondered why he was home. He's like, well, I'll be home when you get there, I'll help you on the car, and I was like, okay. And I wondered why he was home, and I knew something was up, and he said, well, they let all the contract employees go on May 31st at 5 o'clock. They handed us our stuff and said, see you. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? We have nothing else lined up. He's like, I know, you'll be all right. I'm like, we have nothing else lined up. So what did we do? We started looking for houses then, because I was like, I mean, the whole point of us being self-employed and entrepreneurs is to be entrepreneurs. We had got into this program. Why go get another job making whatever amount of money a month or a day or an hour or whatever if we didn't have this program to fall back on? So I went full bar. I mean, my kids would come home and I'd have this computer going and I'm webinar over here and I'm writing over here. And I was already learning, but now I was just really learning. And my husband was already a realtor, so we went to, he had a renewal class he had to do, and it was on HUD homes, on purchasing HUD homes. And this is where, you have to know that there's a universal thing that just comes around and, there's a reason things happen. And we went to this, I went to the 4 hours of renewal class for him, and I went to it. And they were teaching you how to use the HUD system, how to buy houses off HUD. And the gal said, oh, there's never a house in Scottsdale, but let's just look. And then she's like, oh, there's a house in Scottsdale. So my husband kept following it, and this was about July. He kept following it in the house, and so, I don't know if this is in, Scottsdale's a hot place here in Phoenix, or, one of the hot places. So he kept following it, and he called and talked to the realtor. The house had been vacant for 4 years, and nobody was putting in offers. They were, but they were too low for what HUD was going to accept. So this is in the middle of August, and we all know how hot it is here in Phoenix. So we go over and look at the house. It's been vacant for 4 years, and it was filled with cat urine. And it smelled so ugh. And we walked through it, and it was on a really busy street, a super busy street, and it faced a really busy street. But they called the magic zip code. It was in Scottsdale, and at City of Phoenix Water, and at Paradise Valley Schools. So he talked to the realtor about it, and the realtor knew that HUD was probably going to drop the price coming the next week. So at 10 o'clock on Friday night, he put in a bid. And on Monday morning at 8:15, we were awarded the bid. And I was like, oh my God, we have no job. We have to be able to afford our mortgage. Now we're buying a house. And the fortunate thing was, because some of us know, especially when we're buying from a wholesaler, how fast things can happen. And this was, fortunately, a 30-day close. So we were like, this was August 15th, and on August 16th, we hit the ground running. I mean, we had to find money, we had to find contractors, and we're supposed to be finding that all along the way. But I mean, now we have a legit house. Like now it was we had to get people over there. So we started hitting meetings and stuff, and I'll go through that here in just a minute and some of the stuff. But it became real bad, and we had to make it work. And then in the meantime, the whole story progressing, we were successful in getting it closed and finding the money and everything. My husband did get a job, another contract job, ironically, where he was going to have to be gone, and I was going to have to be the project manager, which I had no intention of doing. I was going to just be doing numbers and finding properties and buying books, and I became the project manager. And then I got, now 18 houses later, I'm still a project manager and actually love it. I can tell stories. So anyway, so it's all doable. It's all doable. That's my point. So today I want to talk about private money lending a little bit, but then I also want to talk about how you just get to the mindset of being okay with private money lending. It was, when I first heard about it, it's the one thing that didn't scare me. I don't know why, because the way they presented it, what scared me was contractors. And that really, I didn't want to be, womanized or put down, like not knowing in this industry. I mean, by somebody. And that hasn't happened though, by the way, too. I want to make sure I want to preface that. I've never had that since I've been here, been doing it. But the contractor scared me more than the private money, so, you know, that's a big thing to learn, but it's all doable. Oops. Okay. I went too far. I have to go back. I know, you see it now. Okay, so this presentation is how to get all the money you need by building your confidence and changing your mindset. And that's a huge thing that I've been doing, is changing my mindset and building my confidence. I know some of you might have known me for a long time and think, oh, but it is. It's even more, just on every single thing I do, whether it's my kids or my life or my, you know, getting up every day and saying to myself, I'm gonna make $1 million. And, you know, I'm gonna just start with $1 million. And I know there's gonna be more, but it's every day, it's on my beard, it's everywhere I go.
You're late.
I'm gonna make $1 million. So that's our boom.
Sorry, I was at the Blue Man Group on Sunday and
You can actually read this.
that.
Nice.
Somebody walked in like 20 minutes late and they played the little jingle.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like, you're late. And they like put the house spotlights on them. It was so cool at the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, that was good.
So,
Okay, so I'm not going to get in depth on all this stuff, but just know that there are 4 types of lending that, you know, primarily that we use. There's hard money, there's private money, there's banks, and then there's creative financing, which I think is going to really relate to you guys maybe down the road from just the brief conversation that we had on that. So, make sure I hit the right buttons. So, the thing is, you guys, what we have to remember is we are looking for lenders and not investors. Because if somebody's lending you the money, then they're getting an interest rate, versus somebody investing with you might want some of your profits. So just remember that in a big distinctive way, that you want somebody to be a private money lender to you and not an investor so much to speak with you, because you just, when you go to approach them so that they understand. Now, you also might partner with somebody that is an investor. And I say that because when on that cat house that I told you about, my first private money lender was my father-in-law. And he actually wanted to be more of a lender, an investor. And so he wanted some of the profits in the end, and we were going to do a third, a third, and a third. Well, then I realized how much work I did, and how much work, you know, my husband sort of did coming back and forth, and how little my father-in-law did. And I was like, okay, all fair, but let's rewind this a little bit. I need to get paid, we need to get paid. So I made it all work and be fair, but then here's a very valuable lesson I learned too. He loves to check his mail every day. The man loves to check his mail. He's older, he loves to check his mail. So when we closed on the house and I got the money back, I'd already bought 2 more houses, so I needed his money. So, just slid that in there. Yeah. And I said to him, and he was a snowbird here, and he was going back to Washington, and I said to him, Larry, let me tell you, how about I pay your interest every single month, and I pay it, and then you get the check, and then I can just roll the money over because I've already got houses. And he was like, oh, that sounds like a good deal. Okay, because we weren't paying him the interest before. He just got the profit at the end. So now he was getting this check every month, and he loves to go to the mailbox and get his check. Because one time I tried to directly deposit it, and he said, send me the check. So you have to know what people like. So just remember that.
Hey, got your money next month, right?
I know. Yeah, sometimes I gotta remember to send it though. Okay, so the other thing,
Just post-date a few checks and send one out.
well, it just should be automatic, but for whatever reason, because my assistant, I don't know, yes, I can.
And then it sends the checks for you.
There was a couple months we were kind of tight. I had to wait. It's not a little tight. You guys have, I'm just going to briefly talk about this. And you can't market for money. You can't be out there. On Facebook and be money, trying to look for money. So be extremely careful on that. I just wouldn't recommend it. I think there's just other ways to, come up with opportunities to do money or to get money. Watch what you say. Words like safe and guarantee. They are backed by the asset of the house, but things can happen. Sewers, ask me how I know. Sewer lines can go bad, water lines can go bad.
Did you see my video?
Yes,
Yeah. So, there's just never, it's not safe and guaranteed. But you can say it's secure because it is backed by the asset of the house. And truly, if you're underbuying a house in the as-is condition, then the value, and you might be getting a different kind of loan on it. They're already having some equity in the house because of you've underpurchased for the home. And the other thing that you can really use is that you use Fortune Builders. I mean, you use the fact that Fortune Builders has systems in place and has sold not worldwide, United States, Canada, really, maybe worldwide, they're doing it, of thousands of properties using the systems that we've been taught, and using the systems on private money. And there is a whole lesson in the Mastery site on private money, or on money lending, all the kinds of money lending. And then at the boot camps, there's a money academy that happens. And so I encourage you to go. It's not the most exciting. There are some very exciting boot camps. And you should go. Don't do that one first. It's fun, but Texas is kind of run the other way. Okay, so then the private money lenders. So this is where I didn't have an issue with approaching people. It's offering them an opportunity. And the other night, we were selling one of our houses, and my private money lender happened to see it before I could even tell him, that he was showing somebody, oh, look what I've invested in. And then he's like, oh my God, it's pending. And so then they saw my video of the house that we're building, and he said to his wife, because I'm friends with her, why aren't I investing in that house? She said that to me, and I was like, oh, I'm coming to talk to him tonight. So, needless to say, the other night, we showed him how much he made. We were giving him back his profit. He's letting us keep his money, and we're rolling it right over. We're giving him an opportunity to invest his money in something. And
Did you sell the house on the south side of the street?
yes, and finally, that's the one.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
I know.
Okay,
So trust is
can
good.
I interrupt for one
Yes,
second? I
absolutely.
want to say two things. Number one, if you see someone posting that they are a private money lender, 90% of the time it's a hard money lender, not a private money lender. So be aware of that, right? Like when you're looking, it's really a hard money lender that we're going to do more than check. Second thing, I hate the word private money lender. We should all rephrase it to be personal money lender, because these are people you know personally, that you build a relationship with.
Yeah.
So
That's a good term. That's good.
I really like telling people, because I'll post something like, oh yeah, I have a PML that's doing this, and people are like, oh, can I have your PML? No, it's my personal money lender. That's
And I'll tell you
right.
why.
Personal
So,
money.
my first two.
Think about it that way.
She's exactly. My first two were family members, and they believed in, they knew we'd already run a business, we were already in the real estate, they knew what we were involved in, and that was great. And then all my postings and all this stuff, this one day at the gym, my buddy was like, Liz, how can I invest in you? I would do a sales rep. I was like, seriously? And then my friend tracks me in the parking lot. Liz, what are you doing? We want to invest in you. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is really working. It really works. They started coming to me. And then the guy from the other night, we were at a Christmas party last year. And again, I'm friends with his wife, and I know him. Our daughters dance together. So I know him enough to say, hey, Brent, how you doing? But I see Sasha all the time. And so my husband and Brent happen to be standing next to each other and talking. They tell each other what they did. A couple months later, Sasha says, hey, Brent's getting a bonus check. He wants to see about investing with you. And I was like, right on. So it's all about the communication and the talks, just offering them an opportunity. So, a good personal money lender or private money lender is usually somebody you have to educate on the opportunity. And again, just letting them know what you do is, and then meeting with them. Pre-existing relationship. We met a guy when we were trying to do the cat house. We met a guy at one of the investors. Yeah, you should name your houses too. That's what Peterson says. We can name them. And we met with him, and he was more of a hard money lender in the end. So it is somebody that you get to know, and 3 touches get caught, like this guy. I knew him, but we went over and had a meeting with him. We went over and talked to him a few times. It wasn't just, hey, you said you want to invest with us, we're going to do that. So we pay simple interest. That means it's not compounding, it's not, it's based on on a 12-month period, not 12 months plus a month, or a month plus the next month, on adding on, so just not compounding. Usually pay back interest principal at the term of the loan, so that's important. But that's the deal I worked out differently with my father-in-law, and I did that because he had a line of credit on his house, and he had to pay that interest. So by me paying him his interest, he could, because he said, well, what do I do with the money? And I said, well, Larry, this is what I would do. I would pay the interest on the loan and put the rest in your pocket, or pay the principal if you want. He's like, I can do that? And I go, you can do whatever you want, Larry. Now because before, those other months, he was paying that interest out of his own pocket when he wanted to be the equity partner, and that's why I convinced him that being, a lender and letting me pay you interest and paying that interest every month was a better deal for him getting that interest all the time. So he could not pull stuff out of his pocket, now he can put stuff in his pocket. So that was huge. And then they're secured by the promissory note and having their name on the deed. So check with your lawyer, and we're all here in Arizona, but if you're somewhere else, check, if you have to. It's not that I ran into a snag with that, but I did have one title agency get really involved in some paperwork, and I finally moved on from them and my lender on that one. So, okay, so then there's also the hard money lenders. And like Marie said, I use a lot of hard money lenders. I usually use a hard money lender paired with a private money lender. I have a great hard money lender, and I have a few other ones we've talked to. And the ones I've paired up with, they really have my back, and I like them a lot. So it's based on the collateral. The collateral is securing the loan, so the house is securing the loan. It's usually short term with a high interest rate. They usually start off with a minimum of 6 months, but you can still. It's not a.
It just has a fee.
It doesn't. But it doesn't have a payoff. Like a prepayment penalty usually. But usually it's a minimum of 6 months. But we had one house we knew was going to go longer, and they did 9. And then my new build we knew, which really is a new build, but they did do 12 months on that. And then you can see, if there's points on there, or what their interest rate is, or what their fee is. So there's different money lenders, and I do have a list. I'm not including it in here, and I know so there's money lenders out there, so you can find some. The speed of getting a loan, especially if you've established a relationship with them, I can get a loan in 2 days or a day. It's pretty fast once you've established a relationship with them. They're flexible because they usually might allow a private money lender on the the other half of it. And then the loan to value, 70, 80, 90% of the purchase price, which is below the as-is value. The first money lender we got on that as-is house, they only did 60%. They charged no points. It was a flat fee lender, but we had to come up with 40% of the purchase price and then all of the rehab costs. So, fortunately we were able to do that with the family members. But then we did a couple loans with them, but then we found another lender that does 90% and will do 100% of the rehab costs. But we've established a relationship, and we've also established, that we're in the market and that we've done it. We've had more than, I'd say 18 houses that are okay with that now. So you gotta, watch that. They're not out the gate necessarily to do that.
How do we build trust initially? So, I've got a couple of houses that I've done in the past. So anytime I talk to a hard money lender, I kind of bring up, hey, I've got some of this experience, but not everyone does. Some of us are coming in,
and that's why you have
with
to.
nothing.
I know, and that's in the beginning. Our first 3 houses we didn't, and then that fourth, or I don't even know the fourth, but the next house, ironically, it was a wholesaling company, and they had their own lenders, but I wasn't approved with them. And for whatever reason, he steered me to the guy we use right now, which is Boomerang. I'll say it because I love them. And I don't know. They came in. They knew because we had past history too, and we were already realtors. And I don't know if that one we had the rehab cost on that one though. I don't recall. But then they might have done a loan at 80%.
There are hard money lenders that would loan to first-time flippers.
It's just going to be a higher percentage rate.
Exactly.
On there. But there's we have a pretty good list, and I will have my husband, I will find that because he has a pretty good list out there of people.
Yeah, you can share that a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know before I got this property, I had then just started, and I hit the very last lot of different ways, even when I said that, there's a lot of different ways to do this and to get better deals and everything, but you have to first get your first 2-3 deals in, no matter the cost, just so you have
And it's
your
true.
experience.
And that's why finding the private money, you know, I mean, I don't want to say we got lucky, but we just worked. Working.
But you also chased it, researched it, called on it.
Yeah,
There's some luck involved.
but luck is preparedness meeting opportunity. So we were just prepared and the opportunity came along.
Yes.
If you can get the first and you can get private money and just perform, I can tell you, I lend people money. I don't like it when they don't pay me. I do like it when they pay me though.
And I will never leave this earth without paying my people, because if nothing else, I'll be worth more dead than alive and not paying, but I won't ever leave this earth without paying
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, Capital Fund One did for me the first
Oh,
time.
yeah. and I know
Also
they-
too, because they are familiar with Fortune dollars. so
Yes,
they-
yeah.
They do the high LTV on the repair costs, right?
Yeah, they do an 80-20 and then do the.
They've done
return.
100% repair costs.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what we found.
What's
Mine-
the first, what are they doing?
80-20.
80% of the
80%
purchase
of
price?
purchase price, 100% of the rehab.
It's pretty
Mine was 75 only because my property was already partially torn apart. So, and it was outside of Maricopa.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Oh, yeah.
Question.
Yeah, so that's why.
They're
there's so
primarily
many-
in Arizona and more so about 90%.
Oh, okay. Capital One.
Do they have a
Capital
cap
Capital
on
Fund One. I have a card. 3 bottles.
LTV to ARV?
On Capital One. I don't know.
I said this again.
Overall,
So most hard money lenders that do what you're talking about, do a first and a second, or not a second,
They just hold.
the repair cost, they either do 80% of purchase price and 100% of repair cost, or 70% of ARV. And
Oh,
usually,
I think they
the-
look at
the first number is always better, because that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Right, so,
They look
And
at
then there's different
I just
lenders.
read
I'm
how
gonna
they
tell you this, we have a lender right now, I'm refining out of there, right? It was another story, or another, maybe tonight, but, we had to provide them with a budget, which you still do. And so you do your repair estimator, and whether you do it on Real Flow or you do it through the Fortune Builder's way, it's a phenomenal tool, because when they want to know, I can't just say, oh, well,
yeah.
I think it's gonna be $80,000. They wanna know, buy that, and I present them with this super professional thing, especially out of that hammer point of Real Flow, it's beautiful. But one of my lenders, it's kind of a long story, but I had a budget from somebody else. Some hard money lenders, if you have a budget, a rehab budget of $200,000, you get $200,000. If it's a $200,000 foundation, then, which shouldn't be, but that's all you're gonna get. You gotta come up with the rest of the money. Where these other lenders were like, oh no, your budget was only $12,000 on that. If you spend 18, that's not my problem. You're not getting the money. And that was a new learning lesson for me, and that's why I'm going back to where it was before. So you gotta watch that. That's also good, because it is where we go down to another set of eyes
Yeah.
looking at a deal. I can't just call them up and say, hey, I found a deal, and this is what I want. I have to fill out an application. They evaluate it, they go out and look at it, and they see if it's worth what you think it's going to be worth and what that, especially when you're new. Because they want to make sure, and they're trying to protect you. They want to protect their money, but they want to protect you. So it's really a good deal, because you're so anxious sometimes, and you want to make sure that it's going to be okay. So yeah. And on a hard money lender, like I say, almost always, I think always, that you have to pay that interest every month. So note to self, if your rehab is $100,000 and your purchase price is $200,000 and you have to pay your hard money lender, you have to have the extra money to pay them every month on the interest. So again, when you go back to your private money lender, and you might not be paying them monthly interest, but you might need to over budget for what you need so you can pay the hard money loan every month. So that's just like a ninja tip or whatever. You've got to remember that you have to have the extra money. And that's too, I emphasize that because people are like, oh, I'm just going to use my own money. That's fine, use your own money, but you have enough money for your rehab and to pay the interest. What do you mean? Well, because you got to pay your hard money every month. So you might have a $45,000 budget and that's all the money you have, but how are you going to pay these people? You
You have to pay your utility bills.
Oh yeah, I pay utilities and make sure but they can never send me my 6-month insurance bill. And then they sent it to my private money lender one time, and I was like, oh my lord, okay, we have it covered. He's like, what's happening? You're not paying insurance. Okay, so where to find money? Okay, so here in Arizona, we have the ASRIA, the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. There's hard money lenders down there, and there are private money lenders down there. And if you get in the groups and you start meeting people, that's how you have to network, bottom line, and you start meeting people through there. One of our first money lenders was almost going to be out of there, through there, and I still have a relationship with him, and now he knows what we're doing, and he's like, Liz, when can I lend you money? I mean, you know, he's ready. So I've met, you know, a lot of people down there. Not social media, where you're advertising again, but social media groups, meetups. There are investor groups. I'm involved in a multifamily investor group that meets once a month. Some people have money, they're looking to invest, and some people are looking to be investors, and that's a group. So, you know, it's just starting to build relationships with them. And referrals, again, it really comes back to what Marie said, that it's people that you know. And you can't emphasize that enough. If you talk about what you do and what you pay, and it can be anywhere, which will be another slide in a minute. So Real Flow, if you're part of that, has a list of private money lenders in there on the lead pipes. Okay, so you can download that list, and here's what my suggestion would be. Match it up with LinkedIn somehow. If anybody has a connection with you, oh look, we're both friends, Michael, you'd be like, oh, maybe I should friend him and see what he does. So start utilizing those kind of things, because LinkedIn is going to be where your money lenders are going to come from too. Those are professional, usually a more professional platform, but try to cross-reference these group of people. Because I don't know who these private money lenders are for Real Flow, but I don't know how they found them or what they're on there for, but you know, they're somebody and they got money, and people with money want to make more money. And I have this discussion with my sister all the time. She lives in Vail, Colorado. They're the worker bees, but she knows a lot of people with money. And I said, all you have to do is introduce me to them. You do nothing else, because people with money want to make more money, and you can just move on, you know, step aside there. So auction, I know, right? They want to make more money, so, you know. Yeah, rehabbing up there is crazy. Yeah, I know. So auctions, the auction sites, if you go down there, those guys have money, they have people, they know investors, people like that. Chamber of Commerce meetings, real estate agents. I have met some incredible real estate agents. In the beginning, there are some, not bad ones, but there are real estate agents that do not like investors. Just steer away from them and find someone they do. Because the ones that do, especially the ones that invest themselves, my last 2 realtors have both been investors too. And so they understand it. And they're really willing to do the best they can for you.
Yes.
Because they understand it. So friends and family, keep talking about it. Just keep talking about it. That's what we did. I mean, we just kept talking about it. This is what we're going to do. This is what, you know, we do. And they believed in us. Professional networks, and then other networking events. And the big thing I have to say is anywhere. Because you always need to be talking about what you do. So this past weekend, I shared in a couple at the beginning, I am a wedding officiant. So anybody needs to get married, I can also do your wedding. And there was this guy there that, he just has been, I've run into him in a couple weird spots, and I finally had to go meet him, because I was like, dude, somehow you and I are supposed to be connected. His wife was not so happy with that comment, but I was like, you can have him. You and I have been in places together, and it was a random, a friend's wedding. So we sat down and talked, and actually it was from the church where I had seen him, and so we were talking about that, and then we started talking about what I do about the real estate. He's like, he has a house up in Prescott, and he lives in the Desert Hills, and he's like, I get people all the time trying to, get my property. And I said, well, because that's what we do. And I said, if you're not interested, just, you can tell him to stop sending you stuff if you really want to, or just push it, set it aside, because if anything ever happens, you might be in a situation. And then right at the end, I said, but I'm always looking for private money lenders, and I tend to pay 10 to 12% on my money for anybody. And his wife was like, what? Really? And I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that later. And so you put it out there and you never know. And I do know they probably have, based on what he told me he did, and he's retired and everything else,
How many of you guys have an elevator speech?
They said they push it
Yeah.
a lot.
So, do you have multiple elevator speeches?
Oh, cool, I call them elevator pitches, not
Pitches,
speeches.
whatever.
Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah,
Okay, so 30
yeah.
seconds, if you're in an elevator with somebody for 2 floors, what can you tell them in a sentence that you did?
Yeah, we actually talked to a coach yesterday, and she's like, you have to come up with one.
That's right.
So my
Yeah.
team made us practice for a whole month, and we had to stand up in front of our entire 18-person team every single week, multiple times, and get our elevator pitch until it was what we wanted it to be.
And
It
what
was-
is it?
Well, I'm a real estate wealth manager.
Oh. Very nice. And we're real estate.
No.
That's nice. You
That help people
So
out.
typically, I think we should put Mia live on Facebook, so that I wanna see the elevator pitch, get up.
No.
Okay. That's what I do.
What do you do?
I'm a real estate wealth manager.
What is that?
So everybody always asks, what does that mean, right? So that's what I do. All of you guys got your own title, whatever it's gonna be, you guys. So I'm a real estate wealth manager, and what that means is I get to do what I love every single day by helping people buy and sell houses for investments, whether that means that they're selling or buying a house for their first time home, or they're buying a house for a long-term investment to help them with their retirement and their future.
And we help, and that's the same, we help people out of distressed situations, because here's the thing, here's what we do. Was it you that I was talking to? No, it was Mark who just went. We help people, no, this is what we do.
Well,
We
you're
fix
a
a problem, I know. We fix a problem. We don't, we solve a problem for them, because they have a problem. Whether it's a cat house, or a hoarder house, or someone's died, or an inherited house, or, anything. We solve a problem for them. What's their problem, and how are we gonna solve it? That's what we do.
I also like to throw that what I do is I help them re-beautify the community.
Yes. So yes, then that's exactly.
So that ugly house that's saying that's yours is bringing down your value of your house. If I take care of that and fix it up, it'll bring the value of your house.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, I
But
got
then
one.
you also have to slightly take care of your house.
Yeah.
In the polite way of saying that, yeah. Okay, so that's it. I mean, being an expert in any niche, and when you're talking to a private money lender, or even the hard money lenders, you show off what we've learned and what we have at Fortune Builders. We have marketing systems, estimating systems, rehabbing systems, analyzing, selling, accounting. We have these products. Like I say, that hammer point thing goes a long way when I'm presenting that. And I'll show you last night, now I've teamed up with these realtors. Well, first, when I go to a private money lender, I have a folder. We did our credibility packet. I didn't do a whole bunch of credibility packets. We really did one. It talks about us, who we are, has the ethics in there for Fortune Builders, kind of a resume thing about what my husband and I have done in our other business, and then stories about, our family and who we are, just that kind of stuff, and the template from out of there. So that's in there. We have these printed up at like a Postnet, but we didn't have hundreds of them printed up because they're expensive. So if you just watch your numbers, because they're going to change too. Because then once you start having houses or anything, you can also put those in there. If we have a house and we're looking for money, we put a budget in there. I give them, what the budget is. And this was one, this is funny, this is another guy I was going to do some work with, and he did that budget. I might put an example of my promissory note in there, so that they can see what they're going to, have. And then, and this was a packet on the property again that we were looking at one point in time. But now, I've teamed up with these realtors, and they do these phenomenal packets. So, so for some of you guys, that's the house that on Indianola. I know that we had done. So we put these together, so now I just started to collect them, because this was my house that they did, but these are their houses that they've done, and now they are on my team. And so when I go to my, yes, I know. So what is this? I think it was a $1.7 million home. All I know is when I went over there for the broker open, they went and rented a Ferrari out in the driveway as part of their staging. No pressure. I know. Oh no, and this is not my new house, because they're my realtors on the new house. So you have those around.
Broker open?
I know. but they did a 5x8 sign and put it out there, so, yeah, it's pretty neat. So now I can show those to my private money lenders. And the other thing, that I have to say, especially if you're new, utilize the Fortune Builders people in there, but just ask first. But say, hey, can I, use your home or use a budget that you've used so I can show the kind of stuff that we do, that we've learned. So that's huge. So just ask, but and the same with the websites, because, I have to remember, but get your stuff on your websites or your social media, and, say, can I use, can I see your house? Can I show the kind of product? And just say, these are the kind of products we're going to produce. Or that we're part of the team, this is my network team. So, this is the next, the thing, is just really having the confidence, and if you know what you're talking about, then that's the big thing. I mean, just have some confidence in the fact that you have learned.
Just think about all of the hours that you've put in to either the online systems or live events, and know that you now know more than 90% of the people.
Well, and that's
Oh,
exactly,
that's for sure.
that's exactly.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Have that confidence that you do know more. Because I think in the beginning, if you've never done a deal, you're like, okay, I've learned stuff, but I don't really know. Like, you feel like you're a fraud because you haven't actually done a deal. But just knowing what you've heard,
And that's exactly, because that's where the confidence comes in. It's training your brain, literally, to pick up what you want most in life. If you want a deal, you want to do this business, you have to tell your brain and your subconscious brain, I absolutely want to do this. I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to go find a deal. And you just have to keep that in your brain at all times, that don't even tell yourself you're scared. I'm not scared. I'm just going to go do it. I have to get the deal done. When we had that cat house, I absolutely had to go find the money. I didn't have a choice or I was going to lose the deal. So I was just like,
You see that house
Did it have a king-size door?
it did, and they used the garage as the litter pan, and one of the bathrooms is the litter pan, and there was not 1 inch of that house that was not sprayed by a cat. I can't imagine how many cats lived in that house at one time.
Someone went next to Marie's Arcadia house.
Yeah. So the power of thought is the only thing that we have absolute power over. Nobody else can change what we have in our brain. They can tell us stuff, but we're the only ones that can think what we want to think. So if you're going to think the wrong things, then you're making yourself think that way. If you're going to think the right things, then you have the power over your brain. You're the only one. I don't know, there might be electrodes out there, but we'll get into that. So, and to embrace the opportunities that come along. So tonight, Chris, you're going to get up here and talk about a report. Not tonight, but you're going to do a report thing.
I'll do it.
Chris, here.
I'll do
The
it.
opportunities that were given, and that builds your confidence. I went to so many networking events, and then the first time I went kind of by myself in the real estate thing, I came home and I was like, oh Jesus, I did it, I was just so proud, because I went by myself and I was like, I didn't know what it was going to be about, but it was just really about me learning, and I just went and learned and did that. So never let it occur to your mind that you can't do something or don't have the ability to complete it. Again, it's back to your mindset. That don't tell yourself, I can't go, I don't know it, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm afraid. Don't say it. Just don't even think it. Just, I know what I'm doing. I have the tools. I just have to utilize them. Confidence in your ability to use your mind, and then, the courage, faith, and determination. You just have to have a can-do attitude. The woman with her arm up. You just have to have
You
a
can
can.
do
I can
it.
do it. I can do it.
That's my whole ring.
Right? And then positive faith, the courage, faith, and determination. So you have to free your mind from the limitations, from doubt and discouragement. That, we want to doubt ourselves, but you just have to say, I'm going to go talk to a seller. They have a problem. If they've reached out to you, they have a problem. So how are you going to fix it for them, is what it is. And the minute that you decide on something, just know that you want it. Just know, if you've decided on something or something's been planted in your brain, don't talk yourself out of it. Just, yes, I will speak. Agree, because why not, I will do it. No negative thoughts. I'm really big on this right now, because I can be the first one to lay in bed all night and worry about what's going to happen, and it's not getting me anywhere. So, in the words of negative and positive cannot live in your brain at the same time. It's subconscious. So you have to just tell the negative to move along, and then it's only positive at any time. and your mind on fire with belief, and just again, courage, faith, and determination on there. And so faith, without faith, if you don't have faith in what you're going to do, then you're not going to succeed. The action is dead. Without faith, your absolute positive belief is dead. Without faith, your deed is dead. You have to have absolute faith in yourself. You have to plant the seed in your mind, and you have to have enthusiasm. And this is one thing I say, because I said at the beginning, I'm going to make $1 million. I know I'm going to make more than that, but right now, I'm just going to make $1 million. I'm not going to, put it out there. And every day I get up and I say, I'm going to make $1 million, and I'm enthusiastic about it, because I know what's going to happen. And then, whatever comes after that is great. Is gravy, but right now I know I need $1 million. So I'm going to make $1 million. So in a couple weeks, you're going to do the goals, right? Okay. So this is something to start thinking about then, and I can put this on the page. But I don't like goals necessarily to say that on January 1st, I have to decide what I'm going to do the whole year. But I do want to know an idea of what I want to do, what my major purpose is, what my plan is, and what my action is to complete it. So what's my major purpose? I want to help as many people as I can out of the situation that they're in that's bad or that they need help out. I can't necessarily put a number on that because, it could be 6 because they could be, bigger deals, or it could be, 18 because they're small. I took out a complex and I was able to do that. So I don't know that I'm going to put a number on it, but I do know that that's my goal, I want to help as many, people as possible for me. So, you can write out a clear major purpose. So I think that's kind of what we need to start steering towards for that is, what are the major purposes that we kind of all want to complete? Whether it's next year or whether it's 5 years. I want to say I want to make my $1 million I picked today by March 19th. I don't know that that's practical, but I said it. So you should write it down. We're going to write it down. We're going to commit them to memory. You should sign it, and then we're going to be very specific and definite. I think when Marie comes up with this stuff, she does the goals every week. But your major, big overall purpose, whether it's I want to save the world, save the world is kind of generic and big, but I want to build an orphanage in Africa, or I want to save water some places, whatever that, major purpose is. And you should tell yourself that every day. So like I say, I tell myself a lot of times, especially when I'm having a moment that might be negative, I'm going to make $1 million. But I just keep telling that. Use it as an affirmation. And I really do a promotion and a lot of enthusiasm. It's not my friends next. Now when I'm having a moment, that's what I just say. So, again, when we do this, we should write out a clear and definite plan and how we wish to achieve the major purpose of those goals. How we're going to do it. What's the plan? I'm going to learn. I'm going to attend boot camps. I'm going to get with people. I'm going to send out so many offers or mailings. I'm getting big on mailings right now, on direct mail, and then I'm going to learn how to upload them all on Facebook, and I'm going to commit to that. I'm not going to stop doing it because I don't know if the one more touch isn't what it could be. So I'm going to, I want to state the maximum amount of time, but it's more, maybe on that kind of a goal, the number of times I'm going to do it, because I just never know when the next time could be somebody. I'll make it a little bit flexible and adjust it if I need to. Is it wet?
It's cold.
Oh.
It's been cold since the moment. Let the door.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my jacket out.
Well, didn't stand up here for a while. So, the big thing is, think about, when you plant a seed and you can't go harvest it the next day. It absolutely has to cultivate and it has to grow and you have to water it and nurture it. And it's what we all have to do in this business. We absolutely have to keep at it, keep learning, and keep trying it because things will start hitting, especially when you're always looking for that first deal and you think it's never going to come. Fast, right? Yeah. So then we're going to plan in our mind adequate motives and reach our major purpose. So any idea or purpose held in your mind through repetition and through emotionalized burning. I mean, that's what I say. I'm emotionalized the fact that I'm going to make sure that I make my $1 million. And as I say, it's a small, so some, they're like, oh, that's easy. But that will get me where I need to go. So I say it with enthusiasm and burnt into my brain now, so. If you want your mind to pick up an idea, you must tell it over and over again. So you can do it, I can do this, I'll be successful in this business. You just have to keep telling yourself that 1,000 times because it'll get there. Your subconscious mind will accept any statement you keep repeating it, and you must keep repeating it. So if you want heart and private money lenders, you gotta, I can find them. I will find them. I'm determined. I'm gonna go to this meeting tonight. I'm gonna meet as many people as I can. I'm gonna tell them what I do. And you never know who the next person will be, but it could be somebody that can help you.
The best place I repeat myself is in the car. And I turn off the music and then I do all my affirmations in the car.
Yeah, affirmations and podcasts we listen to, you said the same thing. I listen to them, I'm now decided maybe I shouldn't sleep doing that because I'm not sleeping well. So,
That doesn't help.
yeah, they wake up because then there's somebody starts clapping, I'm like, what? So plant the basic motive in your mind and understand you just have to have faith in yourself. You absolutely have to have faith and know that you can do it. And I talk to, people probably think I'm crazy because I don't know. Like that, if anybody watches The Middle, where that old kid talks to himself all the time. I can do this, I can do this. And just have the desire to do it, and it gets done. So I think the greatest missed opportunity is when we doubt ourselves. When we don't go to the meeting, when we don't have the confidence to go do something.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
excuse you to be here.
Yeah, so neglecting our biggest asset is, neglecting our mind and letting our subconscious negative thoughts take over what we need to put in there as positive. That's the worst, that is the biggest opportunity missed because, it's right there. You're like, oh, I don't want to go because I don't want to look foolish or nobody won't know anybody or I don't want to do anything. You have to know probably half the people in the room or some of the people in the room are feeling that same way. Didn't we talk about that tonight? That, where you go in someplace and you think everybody's feeling the same way. Chest up, chin out. I'm Liz. Nice to meet you. This is what I do.
And she really has to keep her head up high because she's
So, your missed opportunities is not aiming high and not having the confidence, not thinking that you can do it. We are so much further ahead than most people. We're really in like this 2% of people that have taken this leap to do it and be confident in it and know that through learning and through a few steps, we will finally get it done. You can't give up. You just can't, the whole thing is you can't give up. So, and the biggest other missed opportunity is, we were all given unique perspectives, talents, and gifts. We were given them, and we were given the opportunity now to show them. And if we're not doing it, we're stealing that opportunity from other people. We truly were, you weren't put here and given the opportunity to join the Fortune Builders or join this. You're out there to help somebody. You're out there to help people. And so you have to know that, that's the gifts we were given, and we have to do it. It's our duty. It's our superpower.
yes. Super girls.
Something else. And then, the opportunities, I'm looking, and I know we are, and those opportunities will come, so it's making the opportunities come. Not saying, I can't find anything. Well, how hard, and you can be trying. I've heard that statistic, I think it's 25 offers before you get one. And that might be on when you're doing your own marketing. That's okay. When you hit 18 and you're like, oh, say, nope, I'm closer to 25 now. And you get to 25, I can make it. And you're like, it's gotta happen soon. So, you just have to keep doing it. And I tell myself this too, you have to attract and act like the person you want to become. So if you want to become a successful realtor and you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you have to act like that. You have to, I already am. You already are the successful people, Look at the lessons you guys have already had that you can share with people. And so you already are there, so you have to act like that, at all times.
I want to add something to that. I tell everyone all the time, you guys don't know me, I'm actually a new real estate agent. I've only been an agent since January of last year. But I tell everyone that I have 5 years experience because what I get from being on a team, from being around like-minded individuals, what I learn from being part of Fortune Builders, every little bit of that adds to your personal experience. You keep saying we're a step ahead of everyone else. Your knowledge as a whole from the people around you will do so much more for you than what you think is in your head.
Well, and that's exactly it, because that's where we state what we do. We are involved with a nationwide network of investors, and I use that all the time. Because then I say, oh yeah, my friends, oh I have some investor friends up in Seattle, and oh yeah, I have some investor friends in Denver. And again, that's the power of the networking and the boot camps, because I do have friends in all those places. And if I show up in a city that I don't, I've seen people post here, hey, I'm coming to Phoenix, 2 sports builders out there that I can come see what you guys are doing or whatever. Same thing. So I have gone and met a lot of people, and coaches and everybody else in different cities. If I'm there, I go hunt them down. What are you working on? What do you got? What can I see? What have you learned? What can you teach me? And we're part of the nationwide network of investors. So I know. I use that, just, that term comes out of my mouth at least once a day, probably. So, and that's it. So, the same thing is in our minds. If you let the negative things go in there, they're going to keep sticking in there. So, if you go to the gym and you work out and you want whatever to happen, you have to work out that muscle. And it's the same with our brain. So if you don't keep at meetings and you don't keep learning and you don't stay active in stuff, then your brain is not going to stay active in what we need to do and what we need to learn and where we need to go. And then you can blame everybody, oh, it didn't work, I tried. Well, how hard did you try? How many times? It is not easy. It is not easy. But it's persistence that, gets it.
Repetition, that's what should we say.
Repetition. It's repetition.
Because
all
our
the
brain
time.
likes to be
And it's taking control. It's taking control of your, subconscious mind. Because if you're, stuck with things. Oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, I didn't make the sale. Oh, this didn't work. Oh, I'm tired. There's so many other things in our brain that can take over, and you have to say, nope. I'm going to make $1 million in order to do so. Yeah. And I don't want to say you got to stay up all night and do work, because I can't do that. But whatever gets you up out of bed in the day, that gets you going, and says, I'm going to do
Or get up early in the morning.
Yes, I get up early, yes. My assistant hears me all the time, oh, okay, I'm going to just do this. Elizabeth, just do it. So, and I like this one that I had heard, before I go to bed at night, I do tell myself, you're going to sleep well, because I don't want to sleep well, and I'm going to make sure that I, get up in the morning as positive as I can, and who I can help that day. So it's a lot of subconscious stuff, I think, in the beginning, or in our minds, that we just have to keep telling ourselves. So the negative goes out, and the positive comes in our subconscious. To keep telling yourself, that we can do it, and that we have a reason to do it. So the big thing is failure is not an option, and that can be your other thing, Keep your mind on the positive side, and it will always become greater than the negative side. So always the positive side, always, always, always. So.
You know what I find that helps to fuel me is the negativity. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now I have that much more reason to. Now I want to prove to
See,
you.
that would be the devil on this side, and you need the other one on this side.
As long as the negativity is not your bad.
No, that's what I mean from other people.
She's talking about when it's
No.
Oh, yeah,
yourself you can't do something.
Oh, no, see, most people you need to push aside. That's where you need to put the positive thoughts out in front of you, as you're portraying them out, they're just like the superpower. They're literally knocking those people down that are saying you can't do it. And then
Cape on.
Yeah, you do. And then the thing is because your major purpose or whatever you want to do can still be out there, and you can share that with them. But the proof is going to be in the pudding where you just show them.
Exactly.
And you just let them, okay, whatever, but don't, then don't come around. I don't want to hear,
Yeah, exactly.
I'll show you in the end. And you know what? I'll be honest. Not every single one of my houses has been great, by any means. I squeaked through some, I've lost on some, and I had this, with my realtors, we talked about this. You take 10 houses, 5, you might do, okay on. 2, you might knock out of the ballpark. 1, you might lose on, and 3, you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen with those yet. And, it's not always, and we see that on, maybe on the Fortune Builder site, where it's like everybody has the cause, and that's great, it is true. But then you get, talk to the war, when you've been in battle and what's happened, but you can't give up. You say, I owe people, money, but I owe opportunities to people to help them. So that's more important to me, so I just have to keep moving at it. I'm not going to let anybody's negative thoughts, let alone my negative thoughts.
Well, no, that's what I mean, it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool, well, I'll come back again, and, you know,
And then guess what, then you're gonna be like, oh, maybe we should invest with you.
Yeah, and then that's when I come back, you know, even when I got my deal.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, well,
that's what
I'm
it is.
gonna be looking at this, I'm gonna be getting this return.
I know, so because I do want to say real quick, I've gotten myself into a couple sticky situations, and I'm getting myself out of one right now. And it's taken me a couple months to get out, and it wasn't super bad, but it was a situation that I knew I had to get out of, and I couldn't give up on it, because I would have given up on people and opportunity, and I got the team. I mean, I put the positive out there, and now I have the most incredible realtors and GCs and people that have been placed in my life that I'm like, oh, it wouldn't have happened. Had the other situation not happened, I would never have been catapulted into this. So I don't look at it negative now. I look at it like, oh, thank the Lord, because that happening has now granted me an opportunity that's amazing.
It's growth. It's growth. So even the deals that you don't get, there's lessons learned and growth.
Yeah,
So you make the offer, you go through the process, you know, there's so much that you learn,
yeah,
even if you don't get the deal. And it's amazing that if you're not making the offers and you're just not getting your foot in the door, you're losing so much opportunity just to learn.
yeah, exactly. And they're not all free.
Yeah.
Some of them are expensive. I just have to say, okay.
Well, hopefully with the offers, they're not.
I know, no, no,
Just
it's
consider
another
everything,
thing.
it's paid, it's payment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
All right, well,